Hello, everybody. I'm gonna do something a little different tonight. Tonight I am doing a live video, sort of. I mean, it's live as I record it, but I'm gonna show you my process from the very beginning, pretty much, of how I create a project. I'm gonna talk about a bunch of things, and I'm aiming to make this about a 2 hour long video. We'll see how well I do. Now I'm going to start by opening up, and this is not going to be very impressive. This is my dirty sketchbook from work. So while I'm at work, I doodle in this thing, and this is for my nativity painting that I'm going to do for my November project on Patreon. This is just the composition layout that I'm working on in basic little shapes that don't mean much of anything, and you can see how tiny these drawings are with my finger in there. So this is the layout that I'm currently working on, but tonight I went ahead and made these sheets in Photoshop. So this is actually to scale, where the painting is going to be 24 inches by 18 inches. And so I am working from the sketch in my book to recreate my layout here and refine the composition and the values and the focal elements of the image. And then down in the bottom two boxes is where I'm going to do some more detailed drawings. So these are going to start off with little shapes like what I have in here. And then as I go, I'm going to work out, the lighting and then start to refine it a little bit. Oops. And if you notice my tape here in the corners, that's just so I know where the camera is looking, so I don't take this thing off camera and completely ruin the whole video. So this is the Christmas Nativity. And let's see, we're starting with this is the general shape of the what do you call it? Oh, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. The manger, or the stable where Jesus is supposed to have been born. Okay, so it's kind of this shape. I'm going for less of a sloped wood roof than what you typically see, because that's a very Western concept. They were in the desert, and in the desert you rarely see sloped roofs because there's not a significant amount of rainfall or snow that would collapse a roof if it wasn't sloped. Let's see, so this is like the North Star up here. And then I have an angel up here. Like, just really simple shapes, like big wings and a little head. Let's see. And then with the layout that I'm going with, got Jesus is in this little circle here. And then Mary is this circle here, well, oval shape. And Joseph would be here. And keeping it real simple, so they're almost like those blow-up punching bags that I used to have when I was a kid. Let's see. And then right here, I'm bringing in the three wise men. And I'm giving them kind of like, they're just these bowed ovals, but there's three of them. And they're basically going to be here presenting their gifts to the baby Jesus. Let's see. And then over here, I've got three shepherds. And I'm just kind of stacking them one on top of the other at the moment. But they're all right here. And they have their shepherd staves, which probably are canes, cane-shaped. So I'm just going to do that. And then here, I'm going to throw in a couple little circles. These are going to be sheep. And then I have, let's see, oh, and then I've got another sheep right here. Now there's an ox in the picture. That ox is going to be here. I'm just going to go ahead and give it 2 parts. And he's actually coming off the frame up here. And I'll even give him like little horns for now, just to help keep it there. Okay. And then of course, let's see. I have in my original concept the camels that the 3 wise men rode in on. I'm just gonna go ahead and put like one here. Maybe a second one. Maybe even I could even shorten this up a little bit and cram all 3 of them over here. But I'll have the 3 camels there, and then just for some background, some slightly sloping sand dunes. Maybe bring that out right there. And then as far as this would go, this would be like the ground plane back here behind everybody. And of course they're all going to be like tucked away inside this building, but this is all really general. So let's see, if anything right now, everything's looking pretty good, but the camels themselves are kind of out there, and maybe there's too much going on down here in the very bottom. So we kind of want to bring these camels inward a little bit. And wonder, what if we cram the ox in like back here somewhere behind everybody and make him kind of a background element? That might work. Okay, so I'll just write that down right here real quick. Just so I have a note for later in case I have to take a break and come back to it. Bring the camels in more. And try the ox in the back. Okay. I mean, it's not going to be an issue right this moment, but that way I know what I was changing as well, because I'm still dealing with these really basic shapes. Maybe I'll go ahead and bring the manger down to about here. But I definitely want this manger to be more of a like a sandstone with maybe a little bit of wood. Okay, and I'm gonna keep my star up here, my angel here. Now let's see, so we've got, let's kind of bring everybody in right here. Yeah, I'm just gonna simplify down to that simple punching bag or tablet shape. And in fact, yeah, okay. And so here's my 3 shepherds all huddled together here. Maybe like these staves should all be kind of curving back this way. All right. And so this is, yeah, it's going to be kind of more inside than what I had originally. So let's just bring this down like it's a pillar, because that kind of brings everybody inside here. And then we've got our 3 wise men, which I want to have them like right here. And of course later on this is going to get a lot more detailed, but like right now I just want to worry about the layout of where everybody's going. So once I can solve that with the simple shapes, then we can worry more about the defined shapes and making everything look somewhat realistic. And in fact, maybe, yeah, I'm going to keep these two sheep out here. They're just kind of stragglers, and they'll help balance things out. Let's say we've got 3 camels kind of like all crammed in right here. Maybe make that sand dune type deal a little bit more level there. And then the ox, of course, I'm thinking I'll just kind of put him right back in here. Like maybe there's a gate or something and he's back inside with his little bull horns. And let's see. I don't know. Maybe a palm tree out here. I don't know. Maybe one of those ones that's like, I don't want to cover up the star, so it's like the 2 bent stalks. I'll have to find some reference for that later if I don't have some already. Oh, let's see. So yeah, everybody's in here. You got Jesus, Mary, Joseph, 3 shepherds, 3 sheep, and there's also there was a mule. I could even throw a mule back here, like so. Yeah, that would tie that in perfectly. So I think that's gonna be the layout for it. So this palm tree kind of balances out the angel. The star up here would be fine, and we're gonna have a starry night sky anyway, but that's gonna be the most noticeable one. If actually, if I'm going with the layout or the idea behind the 3 kings drawing I had done earlier for Inktober, it would be the only star you could see in the sky. I do kind of feel like maybe everybody needs to come down a little bit. So, I don't know, there's good space though, it's not too bad. Maybe just a little bit. Although, not sure. Alright. So let me put that note. Try a little lower. Okay. But I definitely think I'm getting somewhere with this. That it's getting to that layout that I want to do. Oh. And of course the structure itself is going to have more to it as well when we get to that point. So let's say, what if this is where it ends? Okay, and we kind of bring it up like so. And I'm just gonna kind of do this for now. But I do definitely want to, I kind of want to use like a dome, like what you would see in some of those sand structures that you see in the Middle East. And I'm going to pause this for a second. I will be right back. Okay, I am back again. So we were trying to lower the stable a little bit to get a little bit more of a strong base in this composition. And let's see, so I want to put my North Star here. Oh, and yeah, that's my star. Anyway, what I didn't explain earlier is I put the star here, and we're considering that north, and the three wise men came from the east, which if that's north, that would be east, that would be west, and then this would be south. So that's why everything's located the way it is in this drawing. Okay, and so the desert is back here like so. And let's see, so I'm gonna keep my two little palm trees because I kind of like those. I think they do kind of a good job of balancing things out. So let's go like here and here. I'm going a little bit crazier with them. It's no big deal. I mean, that's why these sketches are so small. Just experiment and do them quickly and move along and see what works and what doesn't. Let's see. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do my little angel up here. I guess angels would have like more like wings like this anyway, but again, it doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of doodling here. Now I'm gonna put my three camels in back here, and they're just little heads, long necks, and then circular bodies. They kind of look like E.T. hanging out behind the thing, which would be a very strange picture. Okay, now, let's see, so I brought this down, and so I'm going to we're going to go for a more centrally lower level. So here's Jesus in his little manger. Mary, Joseph, and they're like leaning together because they're in love. Looking over their baby or whatever. Let's see. And then just to add a little bit of perspective here, this is my three shepherds who are here to look. They're almost like a hand. And let's go with one staff. In fact, I'm thinking, I don't know. Maybe the staff should kind of angle in this way. I don't know. I think they probably should. Like if I even put one right here for like the last guy, it creates a little bit of a line that leads you in instead of out, which maybe that's what we want to do here. And one sheep there, which I guess proportionally it should probably be about that big. I'll put the other one right next to it. They're just laying down right there. I like this third one in here. Okay, and then my three wise men who are all bowing over. And so like from right here to about right here. I'm just going to put them all as one shape. And then maybe, I don't know, there's whatever's going on here. Let's see, the stalls in the back. Then we've got, okay, so I was putting the ox here. And the donkey here. We'll give them just different shaped things going on. And of course we'd probably have a dividing line here, maybe even one here, and maybe one here to make it all nice and tidy back there. Alright, and then these camels actually ought to be more like down here in the frame. At this stage, it's perfectly okay to do stick figures. Although, yeah. Okay. Aside from the fact this looks a little bit menacing, I think this is pretty good. And of course, their actual postures are going to change, but that's kind of the general shape that I want to go with. And I don't know, I'm feeling like maybe I'm gonna whip out this electric eraser. My wife picked this up for me a little while ago, and this will be like the first time I've really used it. Oh yeah, that's nice. See, it just takes everything right out of there. So I'm gonna put one sheep over here a little higher up and just outside, and move this one right over here like so. And then let me find the button. Okay. So let's see, I'll grab my little brush here. Yeah, I think I'm liking that. That's pretty good. Although the one problem I'm having is with these three camels here, it leaves this open and it does feel unbalanced. Now, this might be kind of weird, but yeah, that's kind of satisfying actually. Okay. So what if we'll leave desert out here? What if I actually just tuck these camels in back here, like they all got crammed in these stables inside? And maybe we even kind of add a little bit more, maybe like some mountains in the very distance or whatever. And how did I want to do this? Like the sky. Yeah, okay, well I don't want to get into lighting yet, so okay, I feel like this could work, this one right here, which it's a lot nicer than my original one. And if you compare this to, I'm gonna have to stand up here so I can bring it in, and right here, it's getting a little bit blurry, but within that darker rectangle is what I was going for. So you take that to this, which I just realized you can't really even see that. So let me zoom in a little bit more. So these are the three scribbly little sketches that we've done so far. And I think we're going to go with this. I'm going to just work it up some again here, and we're going to start doing some basic value lighting type stuff. So I now know I want my base to be about right here. In fact, I'm going to, since I'm not going to include a bunch of stuff outside, I'm going to bring this in right about here. And back to my original shape where it kind of tapers up more in the center than being a slope. And those beams are not going to be huge. Alright. And then we've got Jesus here. Joseph. Let's back these guys off just a little bit. The three shepherds. And actually I had them slightly at an angle like this. And then what if... I don't think I want the staff to curve forward, because I feel like that was kind of a menacing type thing. But then this last guy down here, his is way out here. And maybe that one does curve forward. So everybody doesn't have to be the same. And that actually kind of... This might create a sort of a visual cue to follow this staff up and drop, and right there's Jesus, the focal point of the picture. Let's see, and then my three wise men, who maybe they need to be a little bit more bowed. Like so. Maybe that's a little bit less like ominous looking. I'm actually only getting 2 of them there, but that's okay for now. And then, let's see, this central pillar that I had before. And then here's the stalls. Then we'll have the ox here. And the mule here. It's kind of like a horse head, kind of. Just throwing it in there. And then maybe we'll put a stall right there. And then we have 3 camels that are all craning their necks out to see what's going on. I mean, why not? And I think their heads would actually be higher, like up here, because they do have those long necks. I don't know. I do have references for all this that I'll be using later. Let's see. And then, just for a little bit of balance, another dividing line there. Rolling sloped hill out here. I've got 1 sheep here, 1 sheep here. Yeah, I like that a little bit better with them kind of coming. Everything kind of leads you in. And yeah, it's crowded in here, which that is kind of a thing. I mean, it's supposed to show you it's like tight quarters and you know, not a spacious area, not fancy or anything like that. Okay, and my little palm trees. I want this one to be here and this one to be here. I'll go ahead and drop this out here, drop this out here. Okay. And then my star goes in the sky. I'm actually gonna make this a little bit bigger. Something like this. And this is the where I'm going to start working on lighting. And, oh wow, I just made that angel like way too big. In fact, in this particular instance, I think because of this slightly different layout, what if the angel is more towards the center here? Okay, and then I have notes over here, so I'm going to do 4. 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 is going to be the setting. Mary, and Joseph. Oh, okay. Now number 2 is going to be the 3 wise men. The gifts, which we haven't even drawn the gifts because we're using really simple things, and the star. Number 3 is going to be the shepherds. And number 4 is going to be the animals and the angel. So this is my level of importance and focus. So right here, Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. This is like the number 1 area, and then I included the setting, but that's going to be, you know, whatever of the manger is the most important as far as detail and lighting. Number 2 is going to be the 3 wise men over here, and their gifts that they're handing over, and the star, because these are the second most important things, that the 3 wise men came to visit him, that they followed the star, and that he was born there. Number 3 is the shepherds, which there's a passage that says an angel went to the shepherds and told them to come see the baby Jesus, so that's why I brought them along with the sheep, but the shepherds are most important as far as that level. And then the animals themselves, all of the animals, and the angel are the least important things. I mean, the angel is just kind of like fluff, really, to, like, you know, help tie everything together and make it obvious that this is, like, you know, Jesus and, you know, the special birth. So let me make some boxes right here real quick. And this is where we get into actually making up a little bit of the lighting. This is going to be like how bright things are compared to everything else. Now I don't want to use pure white, so I'm going to use a very light brush in here with my pencil. That's 1. Number 2 is going to be a little bit darker. Number 3 is going to be a little bit darker than that. And then number 4 is going to be pretty dark. Okay. So this is just where, like, as far as it's going to lay basically how bright things can be. So number 1, we're just going to, like, lightly brush over everything right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just pretty much do, yeah, I should have just done the whole drawing all at once. So we've already established everything is at least most important with this. But obviously, everything can't be equally important or it looks boring. Now, the 3 wise men, the gifts, and the star are number 2. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and kind of draw this star in. And this is going to look a little bit ridiculous. Maybe. I expect it will. Okay, so number 2 is this slightly darker value. Well, I know that the sky itself is only going to be of secondary value. But since the star is also of secondary value, then the sky is going to be less important. But that's going to also come into the fact that it is nighttime, so the sky is not going to be very bright Okay, now, less important, the three wise men, so they also get this darker tone. Okay, and the star. Okay. Now the shepherds are number 3, which is even darker. We're going to see how this works out. Okay. And then the animals and the angel are very dark. And I mean, this is going to look a little bit weird because I've got this dark angel, which, I mean, it's not actually going to be that dark all over, but that's kind of the impression it's going to give at this moment. Now, this backdrop and everything, so my sky, I want that star to be, I mean, relatively, it's going to be very bright. So I'm going to shade this where it looks like that star is giving off some light, or a relative amount of light in this dark sky. And of course the outline on the star is going to be a little bit misleading in this particular instance. Okay, so that's good and dark out there. Alright, and let me try this. Well, I totally missed where I was going. But okay. So that's my star. And I'm just going to go ahead and darken this in a little bit more. Remember, the star is only of secondary importance, so it's got to have that tone to it, or that value to it in this particular instance. Which means that any light coming off of the star is going to be fairly dark as well, but it's going to be darker than the star itself, but not like super black. So yeah, I'm kind of running into some value problems with this, but that's because of the details, I think. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this angel fully black then. Make sure it doesn't get completely lost here. But of course the idea is that if this angel is not really that important to the scene, then it shouldn't like really pop out of the background that much. It should be there, but be kind of like one of those details you maybe don't even notice at first glance, but it's still there and you can still see it. And then these palm trees are dark as part of the background. Okay. And then these mountains would be dark. And then the ground itself is going to be somewhat darker, but then light again, like right around the focal area. So that, and let me kind of fluff this a little bit. So that, I mean, because the setting, like I said, is not going to be entirely there. So now the bright center of this image is right here. Everything else becomes peripheral to that. And I think that generally works. And right now these are definitely distracting. But they won't be like that in the final drawing. Oh. Okay. Now I'm contemplating here. Okay. So let me refine this edge a little bit. And this was the pillar. This is a pillar. And then this is the edge of the Wiseman. Okay, and so those stabs pretty much get lost in there. I think this guy's staff was coming up and going that way, and this other guy's, yeah, the middle guy's staff just kind of gets lost in there. Okay. That does a little bit for clarifying it. So yeah, now this is definitely the focus, where everything else is kind of pushed back into shadow, although, you know, again, different levels of shadow. So I think I'm going to skip these other 4 little boxes because I'm pretty happy with this. And honestly, I don't even have any need for these 2 right now, because I actually need to work on what Mary looks like, what Joseph, like what everybody looks like, and especially what this manger looks like. So actually, let's focus on the manger for the next bit, and we'll use these and just focus on pieces. So let's say my manger is coming out like so. And I do kind of want it to feel not so much like, not really run down, but kind of like, I don't know, not a perfect construction. And given what we've got going on in here, okay, they are typically like this open looking roof. That, I mean, it's typically a very western perched roof, which I don't really want to do here. So I'm thinking mean, what could they have done with stone to make it look like this that wouldn't just collapse on itself? What if the roof is essentially, it is stone, but it would have like a wood support system, I would assume. I mean, I don't want to go too like Native American with it, or like Mexican. So like, I probably don't want the big circle in there, although I was thinking about it. Yeah, this is where reference comes in handy as far as like designing something unique but not like completely ridiculous. I do want to keep that shape, and I know that I want to keep these wooden pillars in the corners, or even they could be stone. I mean, I could do like stacked stones, almost like bricks, or even actually do bricks. And then I could even do like wooden supports that come off of that. Okay, and let's see. What if it had a wooden base to it like this? And this could even be that palm frond thatching. I mean, I guess it ends up being pretty much the same thing as most of these other pictures I've seen, but like, so it's kind of a thatch roof type deal, which, I mean, I guess that does convey the feel of what we're really going for. And then that would be the back wall of the stalls. I have to remind myself I'm not actually doing the whole drawing here. I'm just doing the structure that I'm working on. Okay. So, what if these guys were stone? And we're gonna say, if this is a gate, then it's got a wooden frame, and this would have a wooden frame, and this would have a wooden frame. Most of this you wouldn't actually see in the image, but so here's our Western X wooden gate looking frame. So that's kind of your stables, and your animals go in the back, and that it could go on for a while. Perspective is going to come into play in this drawing, which I think pretty much this is like the horizon line right here, or right in here, so you might even see a little bit of detail in here, like if this was coming back like so, which would then, I'm just going to go with the central point. So that gives that kind of depth, and then like I'm going to throw Jesus down right here in this particular piece. So then his perspective would be going to there. I think that works pretty well. And these guys end here. And of course you're gonna have straw down here. I'm just scribbling in some texture type stuff. Alright. So I think this is generally going to work. So if anything, it's going to be a matter of making sure everything looks like it's within the stable and not all thrown outside in front. But I do think that's generally got it, and I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, I'm gonna end this video for now, and maybe I'll get some bigger paper out and start sketching some of the characters that take place in this.